to today's Numbers for Life live lesson. We are going to be looking at data handling today. So what I've got is I've just got a few questions to ask you related to this. So first one is, who can remember when you last used a bar chart? This could also be a pictogram as well. Okay, anyone remember that? Okay, so in Palm class, we recently did this when we were actually looking at collecting some data from the staff car park, and we were looking at different colour cars and stuff like that. And we found that actually showing it in a bar chart or a pictogram for some of them was a really good way. So do you think it's a good way to show information to make it sort of nice and easily readable? Okay, cool. So what we're going to be doing is looking forward. The reason why we are doing this is because in school, in Palm class, and hopefully at home, some of you had the opportunity to make your rain gauges. With the rain gauges, what we are looking to do is to actually to be able to collect that information, represent it in a graph, and then maybe able to sort of like even actually look in the long term to kind of be able to pose some questions to each other with that information. But we need to be able to have a little bit of a practice of doing our data handling again, just to remind us, we've had Christmas in between, all sorts of bits and pieces to distract us. So what we're going to do is, and the learning objective is I can read and understand a graph. So we have got 3 different levels of work here. So the first one, this is what most of you be working on. So this is our bar chart. And you can see there are some key features of this bar chart. Hopefully you can see my cursor up here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in a bit closer for you. And hopefully I will zoom in a bit closer for you. Here we go. All right, okay. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the equipment I'm using at the moment. So we have got the following for you to have a little look at. So the title is at the top of our bar chart here. So it's got there the number of boats going past on a river. So we're trying to keep with our flow, our water theme. Up here we've got a number of boats. And then at the bottom, this one is left blank, but that's because that's actually going to be for you to fill out later on with a label or a sort of like, a title that you think sort of fits in that one there. And you can see we've got the numbers up the side here from 0 all the way up to 23. So first question here for you to have a little think about is, which type of boat do you think was seen the most going past? So which type of boat was seen the most going past? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back again quickly so you can see it a little bit bigger. Okay, hopefully you will have said the motorboat, because there are 23 of that particular boat going past. Now, other thing I have got for you as well, as we're going to have a little look at the next screen. We also have, for some of you, I'm going to be answering questions using a pictogram. And you can see that it's called, why do you think it is called a pictogram? What is it about this that you think means that it would be called a pictogram? Cool, hopefully you have come up with the answer that actually, rather than using the bars we had in our previous chart here, you can see that actually what you have is you actually have individual pictures to represent the number of, in this case, a particular animal. And yet again, these are all animals that you would expect to find around sort of water. Okay, so we have got our example question here. So how many ducks are there on the pond, or are there at the pond? Okay, so how many ducks are at the pond at the moment? So it will be up to you just to have a quick go of counting those up. Cool, excellent. Okay, so hopefully you've got your answers to that one there. I'm not going to give any away because I want you to be able to do the work yourself. And finally, so this is for our last group here. We have got the following. So you will see that your graph is actually blank. That is because you've been given the data in a tally chart here. So the first thing we need to do, the first thing we need to think about is actually what number is represented by our tally. Okay, and if you have a little look, you can see here that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 marks going down and 1 crossing them out. So whenever you see this, that means there are 5 things that have been, objects that have been counted. Okay, so each one of these, and you'll see at the end here, we've got our total, and that has been left blank. So that's for you to do. So our first one here, if we were to count up, we could go 5, 10, 15, 20, and another 2. So that would be 22, and 22 would be the number that you actually put in the end box here. Yet again, I'm doing this with my mouse, so you will have to forgive me if it's not quite as neat as I would like it to be. Okay, so find a total for each of the tallies. Decide on the scale of your graph. That is going to be really important. You need to make sure there are enough boxes for each of your items, each of your objects to go in, because you can't go off the top of your bar chart. Okay, so count how many are going up the side of here first of all. Use a ruler to draw the bars on the graph. It's just so important that you actually use a ruler to do this, otherwise we get wonky lines and it becomes, instead of being something that's really easy to read, it can become something that's a little bit more difficult to read. What are you going to use for the titles? Okay, so what's our title? What's a suitable title to put across the top here? And what labels or titles will you give to the different axes? Okay, so this one going up the side, what title would you give that one? And this one underneath, what title do you think would be suitable for that? And then there are a series of questions for you to try and answer, and a little extra challenge at the end for you to come up with some questions of your own that you could ask other people. Okay, anyway, I hope that you have found this useful. Like I say, this is part of an ongoing piece of work that we're going to be doing, where we are going to be looking at data handling across the board, and it will be, sort of quite important to have practiced doing this today to enable you to kind of get all of the information together from your rain gauge that you have actually constructed, hopefully. Okay, thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.